The Vision may be gaining a member, and it's someone that no one was expecting. We'll also check out what's going on with Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, and more. Starting things off with what appears to be the potential end for the Masked Men Army situation. Seth Rollins opened up Raw, and for the first time since his return, we finally heard Seth Rollins say some words. Seth noted how he was the one to create the Vision and how he'll be the one to end it as well. He pointed out how it didn't matter if you were on the shelf like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, or if you're Austin Theory and Logan Paul. If you stand by Paul Heyman, you're marked as a target in Seth's eyes. This led to Paul Heyman coming out looking very beaten down from the last few rough weeks he's had. But Paul Heyman eventually brings out Brock Lesnar to go after Seth Rollins and get payback on him for what Seth did to him all those weeks ago. Brock comes to the ring and fully eliminates every single member of Seth's Masked Man army. He fully took out every single member of the group, and this has fans wondering if this was the official end of the army altogether. Because when they introduced this huge army of masked men, the first thing fans were worried about was the sense of direction and storytelling for this massive group. It's different if it's a faction with 4 or 5 members, but when the group contains over 20 members, it's kind of hard to really give that entire group a sense of direction. So a lot of fans were curious to see where this story went for the Masked Man army. What would be done with them, and what would the payoff be? Well, it looks like the March 16th edition of Raw could have been a simple way of ending the group. They all got attacked by Brock Lesnar, and he personally put hands on every single one of them. So maybe that was their way of writing the whole army off for good. Maybe that was the hidden purpose behind Brock Lesnar taking them all out. But we won't know that for certain until the March 23rd edition of Raw. If Seth comes out for that episode of Raw with no army in sight, maybe they're going with the narrative that Brock wiped them all out. But if Seth comes out for that edition of Raw still surrounded by 20 plus new masked men, then it looks like that was not the end of the Masked Men army, and they'll be hanging around even longer. So the jury is still out on that one, and we'll get that big clarification next week. But after Brock takes out the army, he finds himself face to face with Seth. They were really making it seem like that was the WrestleMania matchup right there. But it was all a big swerve. Oba Femi ends up coming out to get in the way of Brock and Seth and confront Brock Lesnar himself. He ends up fully taking out Brock Lesnar and pointed to the WrestleMania sign, making it official that he was accepting Brock's open challenge for WrestleMania. And later on in the night, it was made official for WrestleMania 42, in what's rumored to potentially be Brock Lesnar's final WrestleMania match. It's a match that was teased back at the Royal Rumble, and a match that the fans really wanted, and they did the right thing and pulled the trigger on the matchup. Reports did say a few weeks ago that they were having second thoughts and being hesitant about the Brock and Oba WrestleMania match because of how they would be put in a pretty rough spot for when it comes to selecting a winner between the two of them. But it looks like they did get over that hesitation and still decided to go through with that big match. However, the biggest controversy with this matchup is still the topic of who will win the match. Everyone saw those reports from a few weeks ago about how Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman allegedly went to the company and pitched their view that Brock should not lose a match at all until his final retirement match. Brock and Heyman want to build up this incredible winning streak to add more impact for when Gunther eventually retires him later on in the year. It seems like Brock and Heyman's logic is that there'll be more hype for that retirement match if Brock enters it on a winning streak rather than on a big losing streak. So if the company is going to honor that wish from Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, that means that Oba would have to lose and take the pin from Brock Lesnar in his WrestleMania debut match. And a lot of fans are not happy with that potential outcome right there. It seems like a majority of fans agree that if Oba defeats Brock Lesnar on the WrestleMania stage, it will do wonders for his career, make him a household name, and really establish him as one of the top stars in the entire company. But if he loses to Brock, his momentum may take a huge bump right there. So it's definitely a tough situation. Brock reportedly doesn't want to lose until his final match, but can Oba really afford such a massive loss for his WrestleMania debut? It's definitely causing a lot of conversation there amongst the fans, but telling by the community's opinions, it seems like a majority of fans believe Oba should win the match. So seeing that match outcome and seeing who wins that WrestleMania match will be something that everyone will have their eyes out for. And as far as things go with Seth Rollins, they faked everyone out with that Brock Lesnar moment, but Seth himself still needs a WrestleMania opponent. So that's an answer that will hopefully get revealed here in the coming weeks as well. There's been rumblings that Logan Paul would step up to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 42, but there's also been very light rumors about a small glimmer of hope being alive for Braun Breaker to get cleared in time for WrestleMania. But with time quickly running out and with WrestleMania approaching pretty quickly, they'll be forced to make a decision there soon regarding Seth's opponent. So expect for that reveal to be made here in the coming weeks. Speaking of the Vision, the March 16th edition of Raw featured a massive new angle being teased for the faction. When Austin Theory and Logan Paul went to speak with Paul Heyman, he made it clear to them that in order to really put things back on track for the Vision, they have to win titles. So Paul Heyman really tried his best to get Logan Paul and Austin Theory focused on those tag team titles again, and taking them away from Jimmy and Jay. But that was not the only thing Austin Theory and Logan Paul got into for the night. After suffering a beatdown from Natty and tapping out, Maxxine Dupri was sitting on the floor backstage, and just appeared to be beaten and destroyed both mentally and physically. Austin Theory appeared out of nowhere and crouched down to speak with Maxxine and share some words with her, but Logan Paul came and Austin Theory took off with him. Austin Theory and Maxxine's conversation was shown to us in the background of a backstage segment. And when we see things like that in the background, it's usually early seed planting for angles that slowly start making their way to the forefront over the next few weeks. So what's being teased and hinted at here? Well, it's Maxxine being approached by a member of the Vision. Although we didn't hear the context of the conversation, the body language is what's important to go by here. Austin Theory didn't walk past Maxxine and laugh at her. It was nothing like that. It appeared to be a very friendly and supportive interaction. He got down low to the floor with her and appeared to give her some quick reassuring words. Now that we see Maxxine has caught Austin Theory's eyes, it seems very likely that Austin Theory could potentially bring Maxxine up to Logan Paul and Paul Heyman in the coming weeks. Paul Heyman did say that the Vision desperately needs to do something major and get back on the map. So maybe Austin Theory is the one to suggest adding a woman to the group. Maybe Austin Theory sees the potential in Maxxine Dupri. Maybe he even relates to her in a way, because Austin Theory was once an outcast. He wasn't getting the best treatment, he was getting disrespected by those who he thought was close to him, which is basically everything that Maxxine is going through right now. So maybe Austin Theory feels her pain and is connecting with Maxxine through that perspective. He wants to bring her into the Vision to help get her back on track. Maxxine has had Chad Gable and Natty as her prior mentors, but maybe Austin Theory feels like Paul Heyman is who Maxxine really needs to guide her and show her the proper way. You also have fans wondering if Austin Theory could be recruiting Maxxine as a way to get back at LA Knight. LA Knight is still sort of in the middle of a feud with the Vision, and a lot of fans often forget, but Maxxine is the in-universe sister of LA Knight. So maybe as a way to really get under LA Knight's skin even more, they try bringing in Maxxine into the Vision, only for the sole reason of her relation to LA Knight. Either way, Maxxine appears to be getting ready to jump into a brand new story with the Vision, and a lot of fans are curious to see how that will work. Hopefully they got something mapped out there for this Maxxine and Vision angle. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.